mean, I had a piece of cake moving in the wind.
Move your chair, sit in the chair.
We're live now.
I just got off work.
I know it.
Good. Good, I'm gonna get home festival. Don't worry, stay at Holiday Inn Festival.
Hey, can you contact me before I got to go by a birthday?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I appreciate you.
Got a studio audience. Right.
Yeah, we're live.
It's a beautiful day today, right?
Do any of y'all have yours? You don't have yours, Trace, go ahead and share it. Go ahead and share it. All right, y'all ready?
We're going to go on ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. We hope and pray that you all had a wonderful Easter weekend on this Easter Monday. We're doing Shop View a little different tonight. We decided to take it out of the barbershop, but bring the barbershop over to the Fashion House studio. I'll go through and quickly introduce everyone that we have this evening. To my right, we have Kevin Bass from J. Clippers Barbershop. We have Minister Valenteri. She is with Cazale and Company. We have Ray Stamps with Uppercuts Barbershop. We have Kelly Cunningham. She's the owner of the Fashion House Studio, also with Cazale and Company. And then we have Brian Hood, who we all know as City Councilman, as well as with the State Hood Foundation. So tonight is pretty much going to be an informal discussion, a relaxed discussion on the topic of success. How do we all view success? In your home, in family life, how do you view success in your career, and especially how do you view success in your community, in your city? And then we want to dive a little bit into how do you balance that success with your family life, with your personal life. How do you all make it all work? How do you not make it work? So we're going to go through, and anybody want to start the conversation on what they think success first means in the home?
I guess I will start first. Thank you for having me again, and I just want to say I appreciate being here. Success, to me, first and foremost, is different levels of success to me. Being happy with who you are is success. Being happy with what you do in life is success. Being a benefit to others in life is a success. And having God in your life is success. And when you add all those together, meaning preparation and opportunity, I believe that is a definition of success to me. Anybody want to elaborate on what I've said? Ms. Valerie?
You know that. To me, success is it fulfilling a desire? Is it fulfilling a passion? Is it answering something that's on the inside of me? Is it completing me? Is it stimulating something that's on the inside of me? Is it growing me to be a better person? Is it helping me to create something to help someone else? So many times we say, oh, this will make me successful here, this will make me successful here, and we actually are yearning for things only to keep grasping for other things, and it's still leaving us empty. So at the end of the day, we all need to reach for things that we're passionate about that's not leaving us empty on the inside. Because we can go through decades of doing something, and at the end of 20 years of working on a job, only to retire from something, and we're still saying, you know what, I'm leaving this place, and I'm still empty. Only to, after we retire from something after 20 years, then to go and say, you know what, I'm gonna try my hand at this. This is something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a child. But because someone else told me I needed to do this, then 5 years down the road, 5 years into retirement, you have the greatest joy of your entire life. And your greatest happiness comes from the fact that now I'm doing something that I'm passionate about. To me, your success comes from doing something that you're passionate about. Because then you're able to put a stamp on something that you're able to touch other people's lives with, as well as your own.
And I think it's important to recognize that everybody's success and everybody's level of success is completely different.
Yes.
Because we can't compare my success to your success. On a different level of success, you can just set a simple goal. Goal you want to set for your success. It can be something small, it can be something big. So I definitely agree that there are different levels to that success.
And this is why we have to learn to celebrate everybody's milestone, because we don't know from a person's life experience what it took for them to be able to get, for them to walk a mile down the road. We don't know the obstacle from going 2 feet, for them to be able to walk 2 feet. To me, it may seem like nothing. That we know nothing about. We oftentimes focus on the things that we can see with the natural eyes, but people don't even discuss situations a lot of times. So sometimes we just need to learn to celebrate people's small things. Because like I said, it's just the small victories. If we learn to celebrate everybody's small victories, can you imagine what people can accomplish? Because we look at people like, oh, so excited just because you did that. Yeah, I did that. To me, you don't know what it meant to me.
That's right.
And we learn to start celebrating people's small victories. Can you imagine how possibly depression would decrease, anxiety would decrease, bullying would decrease? Because we're looking at, especially when we're talking about young children, because we could say, a child could say, oh, I remember when so-and-so celebrated me. We could be making an impression on a life versus, oh, that's nothing. We got to learn to start celebrating small victories with everyone.
And even in piggybacking off of what you're saying as far as celebrating other people's success, we also have to learn how to recognize how that person wants to be celebrated. I can't, just because I'm celebrating your victory doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to celebrate you and I'm going to acknowledge you in a way that I see it, in a way that I understand it. I have to figure out and I have to learn you to see exactly how you see it and how you want to be celebrated. So it's also in learning another person. And even speaking on success in the home, at the end of a long day, when I went from getting up at 8 o'clock, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I went through my entire day and I picked up my daughter from school. The success to me is knowing that I can sincerely just walk in my house, knowing my lights are on, knowing that I can sit on my couch, I can go in my kitchen, fix me a good dinner, pour me a glass of wine, sit at my table, and enjoy the evening with my daughter. That's pretty much what success is to me. And it just piggybacks too off of what you're saying, Minister Valerie, about the small things. That to me is significant. That to me is monumental, just for me to know that I've got my own.
Right. Exactly. Because actually what you're saying is, that's my love language.
Mm-hmm.
That's my love language. That's how it speaks to me. That's how it translates to me. That's how you can acknowledge to me what my love is. So, we
Right.
just need to learn how to love and how to love others.
And I think basically in the home, as far as success is concerned, it's like, I'm gonna put it to where with this, what I do, I cut hair. In my home, it wasn't, I'm gonna say, in the eyes of a child, a lot of success, because you had a lot of crime, you had a lot of, jail, you had a lot of things going on. So you look outside of that, your home. So it was just a blessing that I had guys in the community. It wasn't a group of guys, it was a guy here, probably a guy there, but one guy in particular was a barber. And he knew my mom. His daughter babysat me. So it was things being put in place, by the grace of God, that, he invited me to the barbershop to come sweep up, not knowing, what that would lead to. It was just something for me to do. And I had to pay for the haircuts that I was getting. So, me seeing that and seeing how cool barbers were back in the 80s, that right there, it made me think that I don't have to look inside my home for something that, I wanted to do, because it wasn't nothing there for me. And every home doesn't have a gold-plated home. Everybody's not successful in a home. You might have one. And my, we had lights, we had everything, we had working parents, but it was just a lot of other stuff going on. But cutting hair became something that I was doing since I was 12 years old. And now that I see what success is as an adult, I know it was the guys in the community. It was, the passion, of that little boy to want something different than what he was seeing at home. So when it gets to this point now where everybody's like eyes on us because we are, in the public view, it becomes sort of you have to, because you already know what could happen if you don't. Like that child that didn't get recognized for something, I didn't get recognized for sweeping no floor. But that was just something that, they paid me $2 to $3, but that right there I was happy about that. So, that third place or that fourth place, child that get pushed to the side, there's a lot of NBA players that was 6th place and 8th place, and now they're the best in the world. So I think, we as a community, we got an obligation to seek out, basically, and find.
Okay, you bring that up, and I'm gonna come back to you, Brian, because I got a question for you. But before I do that, you're talking now about how when you were younger and the experiences that you had in the barbershop, how you had pretty much like a mentor, like someone at there that was, instilling in you. Do you think that we still have that today? Do you think that, and because it used to be a point where even when us ladies going to get our hair done, we could go into the beauty shops and we would hear stylists talking to our parents, you know, talking to our moms. The stylist knew that my mama was going to leave me. We felt safe. You know, we had that conversation. We knew that when we saw them out in public, it was respect. That's how we were brought up. Do you think that it's still that way today, or do you think that we've lost that?
I think it's more opportunity today. I don't think we're utilizing it, you know, because
Okay.
we could do more than what we're doing. Because I mean, we all know, we know a lot of people that do the bare minimum, you know, which they could do more. They could, I mean, it's a lot of things that we could do as a community. And if that happened right there, then it wouldn't be the world that it is today.
I definitely want to add on to what you asked him and add on to what Kevin was saying real briefly before you get to Brian. What a lot of people don't know is Kevin was one of my mentors. Honestly, you know, in this game, right, in this barber industry, and I'm 40, and like this is another level of success because I started cutting hair at 29. Like I can say I had passion for doing it because I had always had skills with the hands, drawing, neat penmanship, being able to, you know, color a shade without all that good stuff. But this saved my life. This changed my life, cutting hair, honestly. And when I met Kevin at 29, you know, along with other people, he really had an impact, honestly. And like, this is a level of success for he and I to be on this platform and listening to what he's saying, how somebody had an impact on him at a young age. And I met him at 29 when, you know, things were in array in my life. And I remember, I keep this in mind, Kevin told me, he said, man, you're gonna have to change your attitude. You know, and,
Wow.
yeah, honestly, he used to always tell you like, man,
Kevin told you that.
Kevin told me.
Okay, Kevin.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna repeat that. Kevin told me I need to change my attitude, you know, and honestly, it helped me out a lot. Not saying it's where it's supposed to be at, but at moments where I see people doing the same thing that I was doing at that age, even at 29, I'm like, man, trust me, if I can change, you can change. You know what I'm saying? And so when you say, is it still relevant in the community? You still think it's a possibility for happening? Honestly, it is, because seeds have already been planted, you know, prior to this right here, and it's evident that it's still people that's willing to pass the torch or still willing to, you know, teach some of the lessons that was, you know, passed on to them beforehand.
Mike's a question.
Sure.
So, with the tools and the gifts and the talents that you two men have, are you in positions right now to where you are mentoring young men right now?
I own my own barber shop.
So,
So-
you are mentoring?
I do my best every day, every opportunity. When those young people come, see, that's what I'm saying. To me, God put people in my life for a reason. All right, He put me in a position for a reason. When those people sit in my chair, that's my opportunity for them to sit still and listen.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's the same as when you're behind the pulpit. It's your opportunity to get people to listen. They have to sit still.
And you know what? That's your pulpit.
Amen.
When you got those people sitting in that chair, that's your ministry. Because we get so distracted sometimes thinking that the pulpit
Has to come out.
exactly. That's how the old standing behind the pulpit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
Amen.
That's not the only way to minister to
Right.
someone.
Exactly.
It's not going to always come at a pulpit level. We have to take it to the streets. We have to be on the street level. We have to meet people where they are.
That's right.
And it may be the point of you meeting people in the barbershop.
Amen.
Just like Kevin told you, change your attitude. That possibly saved your life.
Definitely.
So you never know what you have to tell somebody will change their life and impact them. So we can't be afraid sometimes. And trust me, my mentor just had the roughest conversation with me this past week, and it has changed my life. When I called her, it was so crazy because I'm calling you because you're really the only person that I trust to speak, because I know what you're going to tell me is going to be life-changing and impacting.
Right.
And she said, Val, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. And I knew what she was going to tell me was going to be out of love, and I would trust her. And what she told me changed my life. But sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. But in order to grow, you have to hear the truth. And everything can't be sugarcoated. I know we want to be good at two shoes all the time, but sometimes we I'm just saying. I know we want to be good at two shoes, like, we don't do wrong. But sometimes you need somebody in your life just to tell you, look, this is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. You need to fix this right here. And somebody that's not afraid to speak on your behalf because they see you. I would rather for somebody to tell me, look, you walking in front of this car. I know you don't see the car coming, but you walking in front of a car. Versus me getting hit and me laying in the hospital. Would you rather for somebody to tell you that the car is coming, or would you rather get hit by the car? Tell me that the car coming because I can't see the car coming.
That's right.
Now, I'm going to head over to Mr. Hood. Speaking in the community, what does a successful community, a successful city look like to you?
I think first we understand success is understanding that you cannot give away what you decide to keep. Now, where I'm going with that is, throughout a community, if you hoard yourself, whether it's giving off resources, giving off ideas, lending a hand, or just giving a heartfelt gesture, by you holding on to that, you have no room for growth. Therefore, your community can't grow. So, when you understand that when you release what you hold on to, it spreads around like wildfire. To me, that's something I had to look at from a different angle, because I never understood about really going into the community until I just started doing it. I didn't pick up a lot of hobbies at a younger age outside of the norm. So once I started catching ideas and researching ideas, I started spreading it throughout the community. The more I spread it, the more I wanted to give. So that was not only my habit, that was a part of me giving me to say that as I give that, then there's a success. I think what I've seen in the city, as far as working as community and how do we see a successful city and a successful community, is understanding that once every sector of the city or different communities understand that everything that you seek is on the other side of fear. So fear is everything, right? So whatever we seek is on the other side of fear. Once you conquer that, then success automatically happens for the city. I think too many people are almost afraid to kind of collaborate and partnering together, because sometimes we tend to see a lot of big I's and small U's, when it's never that. You all know that we always use it as a collaborative team. So everything's on the other side of fear. So I think once we get on the other side of fear, you can conquer it all. So in other words, we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think once we hit that, then we'll be a successful community.
Okay. I'm going to now dive a little bit different. Ray Stamps, his wife, is here behind the camera. And you don't have to come on, Latrice, but I'm going to use him, and then I'm also going to use Kelly and Brian just to piggyback off a little bit of the success factor, and you all feel free to chime in as well. Balancing. We're successful, you've got your career life and you also have your home life. How do you balance the two? But I know basically, especially being involved as much as I am with Kelly and Brian, individually and collectively, you both have a lot going on. So how do you find that time to still be Kelly and Brian? Ray, how do you and Latrice still find time to be Ray and Latrice?
Let me clear my throat.
That's gonna be good.
I mean,
get called.
I mean, because I'm
And then I have an answer.
And then you have an answer. I mean, because I'm asking, because I mean, even me.
I'm single as a pregnant, but I have an answer.
I mean, even me as a single woman, I mean, my thought is I have a lot going on, and even the person that, you know, I may, I don't want to say seek, the person that seeks me, you know, I want him to be ambitious. I want him to have a lot going on. So how do we find that balance of still being us?
For you.
I want to go first.
You want to go first and get it out the way?
Ladies
She want to get it out the way.
Ladies first.
I want to get it out the
Okay.
way. I balance it because I constantly remind myself, and in reality, I don't even have to remind myself because he is constant in my life anyway, but he was there before I had all of this. He was in my life as I was going along the journey. So when I was getting my success and setting my goals for me, I was setting my goals for us.
Oh, you go, girl.
There was never you know, I want you to do this. Any decision, even, I just started a new job today. And when I made the choice to leave my previous job, that was a conversation me and him had. Even though it was my job, I knew that me taking on a different schedule and adding on more hours away from the house, I needed to have that conversation with him. Everything that I do from point A to point Z and beyond starts and ends with him. And that's how I balance it. I always ask myself, whenever I have a decision, whenever I am away at work or whatever I need to do, I ask myself, what about Brian? How does this benefit us? What is this going to look like for us? And that's how I keep my balance. And if I don't keep the balance, he reminds me, you know, hey, you know, because at the end of the day, this is more important than anything else. Me and his success in our relationship is more important than this studio, than my 9 to 5, than anything that I have going on. And then my balance comes from me walking into church on Sundays. That reminds me that I have to have some type of balance, and it starts with God and then him.
And I concur. Exactly what she said. The thing that, but I think the part you didn't leave out that keep us balanced is everything you said is right and it's spot on. But it comes to point two, you never allow me to get discouraged for no more than 5 minutes. Whether it's before after I wake up and before I go to bed. If it's anything that discourages me, you make certain that you address it right then, and then I have to process. And then you allow me to process stuff. So even though that's a balance too, because I think things have to remain in sync or in sequence, and that's what happens. So even if I get to my point, she knows when to allow me to be myself for a minute and just say, all right, let's see where he go with this. But the minute that balance get off, I can tell it. But she always makes sure she keeps that balance right there, and I'm able to balance it right here. Because, you know, even in life, I had a partner of mine that always used to tell me, I always want to stay like this. So that's kind of centered. And I understood what he was saying, because he said, you know, if you stay like this, you could teeter a little below and a little above, but you never want to hit bottom. But from the bottom, you only have one way to go is up, right? But if you stay here, you float a little bit, because if you go all the way to the top, what's eventually? You're bound to come down, you're going to come down hard. They always say, keep that balance right there. So she allows me to be me and allows me to bring things up to that balance that remains. So I'm appreciating that. So that's what keeps us balanced.
I might have seen a little glisten in both of y'all's eyes. I might have saw a little tear. I might be ready to come on both y'all's right eye right
I
now.
saw some twinkles.
Okay,
I saw twinkles.
Hold on, I want some twinkles.
I saw twinkles.
My wife over there, man.
I think we can wrap this podcast on
I saw twinkles.
Okay, right. Go ahead. And Latrice,
It
feel
was
free.
not the lights.
Latrice, if you wanna add in on what Ray says, feel free to come on up. Okay?
Please do, because I want twinkles. Well, I mean, honestly, they hit a lot of key points, and they are part of my wife and I's relationship, honestly. She motivates me, honestly, more than probably I motivate myself, and I'm self-motivated. No lie, you know, like, one of the part of the balance is, like she said, I love saying keep God first, you know, and especially with Minister Valerie, pointed out, you don't definitely doesn't have to, go to church all the time to get to know God, but we keep God first, and that's part of the balance in our relationship, in our marriage. Like Miss Casey Kelly, I apologize.
Yeah.
Twins. Like Kelly said, when I met my wife, I met her at the barbershop. I was not the owner of Upcuts Barbershop, 620 Westover Drive. Back in the day.
Way to plug.
The plug, shameless
Shameless
plug.
At that time, I was just cutting hair, managing the shop. And, and when I met her, at that point in my life, I wasn't looking. And that's the key point to it right there. I definitely wasn't just seeking anybody. I was really getting to be, in tune with who I am, happy with who I am first. I definitely was happy with who I am first before I met my wife. And she told me one very important thing. She said, I believe in your potential. And honestly, when she said that, I was like, yeah, that's right. So, no lie. She told she believed my potential. Good. When I met her, I didn't have a driver. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't have a driver's license. I didn't have a crib, no car, none of that. I was grinding. And she told me I believe in your potential. And that right there just motivated me because I was like, well, I can't let nobody get this one right here. The other ones, they got away, they may not be for me. This one right here, if I believe my potential, I'm going to make sure I do whatever it takes to show her that I appreciate that. So now that we're where we're at, like you said, she didn't come in my life because of that, and that's a lot part of the balance. Like when we're together, it's about us, like I don't have to be around her, and I know she's always thinking about me. Did I get a twinkle for that?
You got a twinkle.
She twinkling.
She
y'all.
twinkling.
She twinkling
She
behind
twinkling.
the camera. She
She
twinkling.
twinkle.
Thank you very much.
Kevin, you want to add?
Well, balancing the home with me it's been it's different from all of this. It starts with a routine because with my career, it causes me to go out of state. So I live in Greensboro and I travel to Virginia, and I've been doing that for 16 years. So it was kind of hard. I'll wait till that
Just go ahead so you can be heard.
It was kind of hard. It was kind of hard with the trust issues on both sides. So even with God in place, it's still gonna be distrust if it's if you let it be there. But what makes it better now? I mean, those were failed relationships, so I didn't dwell on it. It's gonna be a time when everybody gets to be like the Cosbys. But anyway, before then, now what I do is I treat my days all the same. I have a routine. My routine is I get up at 5, I go to work. Even though I know that my hours can vary and I can work my own hours, I don't have to go to work. It's I make myself. Like you say, I'm on the grind. I believe in myself because I'm not done yet. So I balance my life now by working 9 to 5 basically. I'll get up, I'll hit the highway, I'll put in my 8 to 9 hours. If I make what I make, if I don't, oatmeal better than no meal, I'm coming home. Because I'm trying to go slow so I can go some more.
Oatmeal, but let me tag that. Oatmeal is better than no meal, okay? You said oatmeal is better than no meal,
And what was the
okay?
last one?
I'm trying to go slow so I can go some more. And with this barbering thing, like with Ray, we're going to be doing this for a long